Hey mama, I'm Ashley and this is the Maverick Mompreneur Podcast, where you're free and encouraged to own your desire to create and scale an impactful, discoverable online brand and business in the midst of motherhood. A business that's aligned with your mission, lifestyle desires, personality, and zone of genius without wasting your time on the hustle and grind hamster wheel that is social media. Can I get an amen? Sis, you are a maverick, an original, willing to stand out in your authenticity, defy expectations, and do life and business outside the box. In our world, if it's not aligned with who we are, it's a hard pass or a brave pivot. So if you're here for the powerful identity shift and transformation from boss babe or boss mom to aligned CEO, building a one-of-a-kind, influential, hustle-free online business that will produce long-term impact and multiple streams of income through SEO, affiliate marketing, and courses while building yourself in the process, well, pop in those AirPods, grab that cup of coffee or glass of wine, and let's get growing. Hello, and welcome back to another episode of the Maverick Mompreneur Podcast, Season 2, where we are walking through my tool, the Brand Builder's Roadmap, which is essentially going to be a free course on the podcast in building a sustainable, profitable, authentic personal brand with multiple revenue streams, the Maverick way. I'm your host, Ashley, and I'm so glad you're here today because we are chatting about something that is a super foundational element to a sustainable, scalable brand and business that I honestly wish I'd been more mindful of years ago. And this is something I've been focusing very heavily on for the last several months. And I'll tell you a little bit about my journey. But what is this mysterious thing that I'm talking about? Standard operating procedures, or SOPs, as we'll refer to them in this episode. But before you stop listening, because SOPs are so not sexy and flowy and fun, and we just want to get away from all of that, let me just say that if you care whether or not your business succeeds long term or your mental health as an entrepreneur, you need to create SOPs. I know that's dramatic, but I honestly have come to believe and know that they're that important. If you've ever been in a season of your business, or you're there currently where you feel like you're a duck that's just paddling really fast under the surface of the water, but they look cool, calm, and collected on the surface, creating SOPs within your business may be your saving grace, like it was for me. And fortunately, as you may have already guessed, we are going to be talking at great length about standard operating procedures, and I hope I can make it fun for you, give you some real life examples, a formula for how to create an SOP, and then I also have a gift for you, a really exciting one, which I'm going to tell you about. But before we dive in, I have to tell you about something I am so excited for. If you're struggling and or ready to put all the pieces of the passive income puzzle together, then my new program, the Passive Digital Product Funnel Lab, is absolutely for you. I have created, if you know, hundreds of digital products and sales funnels over the last 8 years in business and have a ton of knowledge to share. And in this course, I'm going to show you how to finally create a winning digital product and sales funnel that will allow you to have a seamless passive sales process even while you sleep. But there are no cookie cutters. I'm not going to teach you that you have to show up on Instagram, or you have to show up on YouTube, or you have to show up on a podcast. I'm going to show you how to create a digital product, a funnel to sell it, and a strategy for content and promotion that you can customize no matter where you're showing up. I want you to create a passive sales system that works for you. So if you want to be able to scale your business with confidence, knowing that your automated systems are converting leads into sales without your constant involvement and oversight, diversify your income streams by leveraging the power of digital products, freeing you from the whole time for money trade and allowing your revenue to grow even when you are technically off work hours or you're on vacation. If you want to be able to gain clarity and direction in your digital product strategy, eliminating the overwhelm and confusion that I know is often associated with launching and automating products, and achieve long-term sustainability and peace of mind by building a solid, scalable foundation that supports your brand's vision and aligns with your authentic business values, then you need to get into Passive Digital Product Funnel Lab. Here's exactly what you'll get in the program. Firstly, you'll get lifetime lifetime access to the course material and replays of all the Q&A sessions. Speaking of Q&A sessions, we'll have bi-weekly Q&A sessions with me within the course portal. It's a 6-week program, so you'll have 3 Q&A sessions, and in between you're going to be working on specific assignments to help you build out your digital product and your funnel. There will be action-oriented worksheets and tools to keep you organized and focused. And of course, there'll be 6 weekly strategic, powerful training drops, actually more than 6. There will be some smaller videos too, ancillary videos that are going to show you exactly how to create a digital product, a passive sales funnel, and a plan to promote. This truly has it all, and I can't wait to start teaching. You actually have 2 awesome investment options to get in on this. There are time-sensitive details for both if you are wanting to save on this. The first option is just the self-paced course. So what I described before, we're currently in pre-sale pricing. If you are listening to this week, hop on this now before the price increases once we hit 20 enrollees. Or, in my opinion, the best value is to join the Maverick Society, which is my membership community, which not only includes passive digital product funnel lab, but you have weekly members-only Q&A hot seat coaching calls with me to help support you through implementation and scaling and all of those things, a private Facebook community where you can ask quick questions every day as you learn and implement and get my feedback within 24 hours. You get access to my full course and resource library and all the programs I release during your time in the membership, and honestly, so much more. That is the best option if you can swing it. So if you've been thinking about joining the Maverick Society, now would be a great time because you are going to be able to participate in the live version of Passive Digital Product Funnel Lab. And then after that, I have something even more exciting coming up, and you're going to want to be a part of it. If either of those options sounds aligned to you, you can check out a ton more information and snag your spot through the links in the show notes, or you can always head to elevatedwithashley.com/Maverick for the membership, or elevatedwithashley.com/courses. And that has all of my course and digital product listings there, so you can check those out. All right, let's get into today's episode. So what exactly are SOPs? Standard operating procedures are documents, essentially, that contain step-by-step processes for completing recurring tasks within your business. So for example, welcoming new members into your Facebook group, onboarding one-on-one clients, following up with your customers, creating weekly or monthly email newsletters, processing payments, creating new offers in Kajabi, creating PayPal links, preparing for a new product launch, creating your YouTube videos, your podcast, your blog posts, social media content planning, etc. You get the point. And if you have plans, as I know you do if you're listening, to scale your business, or you personally struggle at all with productivity, then you'll want to get on board with this as soon as you can. Honestly, I know it sounds like, hello, dum-dum, you should have been doing this years ago. And I had some SOPs, but I'm realizing it was literally the solution to being able to hand things off. And it's so important. We talked in episodes 104 and 105 about techniques like the Eisenhower matrix that can help you from shifting that feeling of busyness, but not really moving the needle, to being actually productive by dividing your to-do list into different categories. One of those being delegate or outsource. That delegation portion at times for me has felt almost impossible because I have a standard operating procedure, but it's not captured anywhere else other than just in my brain and my Google Calendar. And the thought of training someone on every single element of my business that I would like to delegate and outsource sounds really daunting, really overwhelming. And this is where SOPs come in. So what I've been working on for the past few months is formalizing all my standard operating procedures that I have in my brain and scattered around in my notes and in my Google Calendar that only I can do into formalized standard operating procedures. And I've actually been having fun doing them. And I've now seen that this is how I'm able to hand things off to my virtual assistant. And she's getting things done just as well as I could do them. And she's literally doing exactly what I would be doing, but it doesn't require me to use my brain, to use my creativity, to apply that to my work so that I can work with my clients. I can take on new clients. I can record more podcast episodes, the things that only I can do. And so this will allow you to delegate and outsource piece by piece and eventually a lot of the operations within your business so that it's not all on your shoulders. Because if you're a solopreneur and you're ready to cut out some of the tasks that you literally hate or that you can't handle or that you don't have time for, then your first step should be creating SOPs for those tasks. And even if you're not at the point where you want to delegate, the time savings of having a visual list in front of you to run through will save you so much mental load and energy and time. SOPs can come in a lot of different formats. I personally use and love a straightforward step-by-step format and a video to go along with it with a click-by-click screen share of exactly what I'm doing as a run through. But there are also flowcharts, like more hierarchical looking formats, mind maps, if you will, and so many more. What's important is that you come up with something that works for you, make that a template and use it for each one of your SOPs. If you would like to download a free SOP template I created for you, go to the blog post for this episode, elevatedwithashley.com/106, and you can snag that. And in the email that you're going to get, I am including one of my content repurposing SOPs that I use within my company. So grab that if you would like. And now let's talk about more specifically how to create an SOP based on an example. Okay, so I want you to think about writing an SOP for sending out your weekly email, or maybe it's your monthly email. The content of that email is going to change from week to week, but you have an overall formula that you like to use to keep your subscribers up to date on all the things. You might include new podcast or blog content, a review of an affiliate product or a course that you love, and a call to action at the end of every newsletter. So step one of writing an SOP is going to be to set the actual goal. So what do you want to accomplish by the time you reach the end of the standard operating procedure? What is the purpose? Your goals should be connected to the task. For example, one might be draft and schedule the weekly newsletter. Keep the formatting consistent each week. Those are two different goals for the same task, right? Update subscribers on recent activity. Increase sales via a call to action. When you know your goals for the task, it's easier to work through all of the steps because each one should lead you toward successfully achieving those goals. So step one, set a goal. The second part of an SOP is provide the resources that are needed. So to accomplish the task, in our case, writing the weekly newsletter, the weekly email, list all the resources that you would need or someone else would need when you're handing this off, such as like equipment, passwords to your email service provider, any software, supplies, and I highly recommend you consider including a video tutorial using tools like either Loom Screen Record or Zoom like I do. So anyone following your SOP can easily watch and learn the process and refer to that rather than asking you questions. I keep all of my SOPs in an unlisted YouTube playlist, and you will have access to one of those if you grab that download on elevatedwithashley.com/106. So if you want to see kind of a case in point of how I do this, that's there for you. So some example resources for our example might be a link to a Zoom video tutorial, a link to your ActiveCampaign, that's the email service provider I use, login info for ActiveCampaign, a link to a folder in your Google Drive where you store your draft emails, a link to a course that you purchased or that you created that has tutorials for ActiveCampaign that might be relevant to this, login information for that course, a link to a tutorial page on ActiveCampaign's website in case you need further instructions. So I want you to think about all of the resources someone would need to make this task happen. And for you, when you're creating this, if you're not handing it off yet, it's sort of like, well, why would I do that? I already know my information. Honestly, honestly, I can't tell you how many times this has actually saved me time when I've been logged out of my accounts and I'm one of those people who literally can never remember their passwords because I rely on the keychain and all of that within my computer and my phone. So list all of that out, and then eventually this is going to be something that you can hand off when you're ready. Next up, you're going to build an outline. And this is going to be super simple. It's just the main overarching steps that are required to complete that task. This is not the time when you're going to be putting in every little minuscule, tiny, teeny detail. It's going to be concise. It's going to be easy to just glance at, browse through. Lists are usually best for this. So for example, the newsletter, 1, sign into ActiveCampaign. 2, duplicate previous weekly newsletter. 3, update newsletter with this week's topics. 4, format the newsletter. 5, review the newsletter. 6, schedule the newsletter to publish. So once you have your outline of the specific steps, then you're going to go and copy and paste that outline to start listing out the full process. So after each one of your steps, and I had 6 for the example I gave you here, after each of those steps, you're going to outline and fill in every necessary detail to make that task happen. And one thing that I like to do is to include screenshots if it can help clarify the process. So if you have to have settings a certain way, say in your email service provider, screenshotting what that looks like. So giving those visuals as well. So you're going to detail anything that someone would need to know to complete this. So for me, the only way that I can do this is to actually run through it myself, because a lot of times we do things on autopilot that are actually pretty important, but we don't think to include them. So really run through your standard operating procedure. It's going to make your task longer for you for that one time, but the time you'll save by slowing down to do that is like 1,000-fold. So don't even worry about it. Just trust me, go do this. Testing out your SOPs. For example, when I passed off my most recent SOP to my virtual assistant, she is the tester. So she didn't just go through it and then hit send, hit publish, right? So all along the way, we were checking in if there were any questions or things that needed clarification. We had the agreement she was going to touch base with me. And then once she ran through it, we made sure there were no hiccups. It was good to go. And now she's able to just do that. I preview the final product and then we're good to go. You just want to ensure that nothing's missed or nothing's recorded incorrectly before you delegate a task to someone else, particularly if this is someone that you're contracting with off of, say, Fiverr or Upwork, that you aren't going to have as much back and forth with. Make sure that you didn't leave anything out. And then the last step 6, is just keeping your SOPs updated. I have all of mine in a Google Drive folder for my company operations, and these should be looked at periodically to make sure everything is current. So if you've changed your passwords, make sure to go in there and change that. And what I like to do is at the top, make sure it has, I usually highlight it in red or change the font to red and say last updated and then the date that it was updated, just so that everyone's aware of when this was last updated. And if it seems like it's been, 6 months, then you'll know, maybe I should go back through and see if there's anything I'm doing differently or any changes that have happened within your software, whatever it might be. Okay, so now it's time for you to take action on this. So go write your first SOP, continue writing your SOPs one at a time, or delegate them until you're done. And it's perfectly fine if this takes months to complete. It probably will. Remember, you can just take it one step at a time. And yes, it is going to require you to invest your time and effort, but the long-term benefits in terms of consistency and scalability and your efficiency are so freaking worth it. This is going to allow you to focus on growth and being innovative and creative. And I want you to start sooner than you think you should with all of the things, because when you're ready to grow and scale, the last thing you want to do is slow down and create these things. And I'm speaking to the choir because I just went through this process and now I feel like I can finally breathe and I understand why I should have had these in place years ago and updated them versus creating all of these videos and SOPs from scratch. But anyways, it is worth the effort. So if you'd like to download just a free SOP template that I created for you, again, head to elevatedwithout MaryBethAshley.com/106. That's where you can read the blog post for this episode. You can listen on the blog through the player, and then I have that downloadable resource for you. That is it for today's episode of the Maverick Mompreneur Podcast. I hope that you found this discussion around standard operating procedures helpful and not super boring, but it is a very important part of building a sustainable and scalable, profitable brand, and that is what I want for you. So get out there, go start SOPing it up, and let me know how it goes. Until next time, cheers to your impact. Thank you so much for listening to this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you got a ton of value, and if you did, I would really appreciate if you would rate, subscribe, and review this podcast. It really helps push out the message that I have to share with other female entrepreneurs. Thank you so much.